Quarter. Hillary Clinton addressing the email controversy that continues to loom over her presidential campaign. The Democratic frontrunner dismissed the idea that she will be taken away in handcuffs for allegations over her private email server, saying there's no chance that will happen.
They live in that world of fantasy and hope because they've got a mess on their hands on the Republican side. That is not going to happen. There is not even the remotest chance that it's going to happen. But look, they've been after me, as I say, for 25 years, and they have said things about me repeatedly that have been proven to be not only false, but kind of ridiculous.
President Obama also addressed the scandal on Fox News Sunday this weekend, guaranteeing that there would be no political influence in the Justice Department's investigation.
I guarantee that there is no political influence in any investigation conducted by the Justice Department or the FBI, not just in this case, but in any case.
And she will be
full stop, period.
And she will be treated no differently.
Guaranteed, full stop. Nobody gets treated differently when it comes to the Justice Department because nobody is above the law.
Joining me right now, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning.
He was pretty adamant about that answer.
Yeah, he was, and he's facing a lot of speculation because information is leaked from the FBI and from sources around the FBI that the evidence against her is compelling, strong, forceful, clearly enough to present to a grand jury, and probably enough to get an indictment. So if that doesn't happen, that means that somebody way high up at Main Justice, probably the Attorney General herself, or worse yet, someone in the West Wing of the White House, decided we don't want to indict Hillary Clinton right now. Now, the president has said that's not going to happen. The president also revealed, I think you might have a tape of this, an alarming disinterest or ignorance about the classification of documents as confidential, secret, or top secret.
Do we have that soundbite?
It's when he said...
Let's run it. And then I'll get comments on it.
There's classified and then there's classified. There's stuff that is really top secret, and there's stuff that is being presented to the president or the Secretary of State that you might not want on the transom or going out over the wire, but is basically stuff that you could get.
There you go. There's classified and then there's classified, Judge.
Okay, so confidential information. There's three categories of classification: confidential, secret, top secret. Confidential means if it's revealed, it could embarrass the country. Secret means if it's revealed, it could harm the country. Top secret means if it's revealed, it could gravely harm the country. He took an oath to uphold the federal laws. The federal laws put these things in those three categories, not because somebody put a stamp on them with one of those three words or phrases, but because of the essence of what's in the document itself. Mrs. Clinton, on her first day in office, signed a statement under oath recognizing her obligation to recognize this stuff, whether it's marked confidential, secret, or top secret or not.
Judge, that's a great point, because here we are. I mean, can you comment on the fact that is gross negligence enough for a criminal liability, right? Because her intent was to prevent emails from becoming public. So isn't that enough?
Normally, negligence is not a basis for a criminal prosecution. The government has to show intent. Negligence is carelessness. But this particular...
And he did use that word, careless.
He used the word because there are degrees of negligence. Carelessness is the lowest level of negligence. Gross negligence is the highest level. But still, gross negligence is sufficient to justify a prosecution for espionage. Why? Because the courts have said so. Why? Because the statute says so. It's the rare federal statute where the government doesn't have to prove intent. It can just prove gross negligence. But they can prove intent if they want to, because there's at least two emails where Mrs. Clinton instructs her aides, cut and paste, remove the classified designation, and send it to me on the fax machine that you have, whether it's a secure fax machine or not. That shows an intent and a pattern to avoid and evade the espionage.
Correct. And they had to give immunity to one of her former staffers, which is interesting. But I think the most
Brian Pagliano is the guy who set up the server.
But what's most fascinating about what just happened is, shouldn't the president be saying he cannot comment on an ongoing investigation?
Precisely.
Well, I think that's even more important. You're right.
Precisely.
He's not supposed to comment on an active investigation.
And is he sending a message? Is he?
You know, I don't know what kind of
by commenting.
I don't know what kind of a message he would be sending. I mean, the FBI works for him, but the FBI is going to go where the evidence takes it, no matter what the president and the political people around him may want. Can he stop an indictment from happening? Absolutely. Could he pardon her? Of course he could pardon her. But he could also say to the Attorney General, I don't want her prosecuted in this time period, in this era, for a variety of public policy reasons, even political reasons, and you're my Attorney General, you're going to follow me. Yes, he can do that. If he does that, the FBI will leak a sample indictment, and it will leak all the evidence that it has following, supporting that indictment.
This is his Secretary of State. He should be not commenting on this ongoing investigation.
I gotta believe her confidence in this, and what we saw when she said that's just not going to happen, is that deal's been cut. She's so confident about this.
I heard Judge comment on this.
I think when she says that, it's a dog whistle to the FBI, by which I mean the FBI is watching everything she says on television and on her campaign appearances. When she dismisses the significance of the investigation, when she mocks it, when she predicts its outcome, when she says nothing's going to happen to me, that aggravates them.
Yeah.
That demeans them.
I can imagine.
And they're human beings. They're professionals, but they're human beings.
We've seen all of these leaks, right? From the Brian Pagliano immunity to all of these very close aides going up and talking to the FBI over the last couple of weeks. It will leak. Everything else is leaking.
Do you
So
think
if there was a recommendation to indict or a recommendation that from Jim Comey, it will leak.
Do you think she talks to the FBI?
It's a Hobson's choice for her. The political advice would be yes. The legal advice would be no.
Right.
When you have a client, particularly a white-collar client, an intelligent person, who's been asked in to speak to the FBI, you never, ever, ever let them speak. The classic mistake is Martha Stewart.
She can't say that, though.
On the other hand, she has boasted so many times something that's inconceivable. I can't wait to talk to the FBI.
She'll have to.
Well, nobody believes her when she says that, but she's said it so many times. If they invite her in and she refuses to come in, they'll leak that.
Well, she'll just tell them there's top secret and then there's top secret.
And there's confidential and very confidential.
Yeah. You know,
there's classified and then there's classified.
You talk about having a sense of humor. Edward Snowden in Moscow last night tweeted, there's classified and there's classified? I wish I had known that.
Really true. He's got a personality.
I don't know if it was really his. It looked like it was his.
Edward Snowden changed so much. Judge, good to see you.
Good to see
Thanks so
you.
much. Judge Andrew Napolitano. Coming up, it was a meltdown.